Kanye makes sure to reference the difference between being black and being human at the start of this track, where his opening lines say, "I know Obama's heaven sent, but ever since Trump got in office, it let me know I could be president." And I think this says something about Kanye's thought process and the endorsement that he has of Donald Trump. I know people are going to throw out the argument that this isn't new information. We've already known Kanye West said he would have voted for Donald Trump, but not in this way. Saying if I would have voted that I would have voted for Trump isn't very descriptive. It's just something you say. I don't think anyone would really be upset with you, because regardless of what he showed people during his run or during his campaign, you don't really know how he would be exactly once he got into office. So hearing Kanye West say that back then really wasn't like a huge deal. But now that Trump has been president for a little over a year now, I believe, and he's, gotten his foot in the door, he's taking his socks off, letting that aroma spread through the air. We all got a whiff of it, and we would imagine that Kanye has too. But I think one of the things that people have to keep in mind is we don't experience life at the same pace or rate that Kanye may. So his whole ideology and his argument is coming from a perspective that doesn't experience life that the common people may. So he doesn't have the same perspective or isn't affected at the same intensity that the average person is when Trump says something new. So he isn't the person that we need to worry about the opinion of when it comes to how passionate people should feel in regards to the politics of Donald Trump. Now, I know I said in my last Kanye video that, Kanye is a person that I would love to separate his opinion and his music, just to enjoy his music as a separate thing and to interpret his opinion in a different space. But with this track, Kanye is combining his political opinion and his art. For the people saying that, oh, you gotta separate the artist from their artistry, you gotta make sure you're not judging them based off the person that they are, Kanye is making that a literal impossibility. It's not as simple as not wanting to hear his music because of his political opinion when he's placed his political opinion in his music. So you can't get away from it. You have to talk about it. This track, to me, opens up beautifully. And the more and more it continues, becomes shittier and shittier and shittier. And I say this because Kanye is starting out with a very healthy opener here by saying, "I know Obama was heaven sent, but ever since Trump won, it proved that I could be president." Just means that he identifies more with Trump, a white millionaire, versus Obama, who is a black man. That should let a lot of people know why there is such hypocrisy with this track here. Because in the same track, Kanye West is trying to establish himself as the leader of black people, or I would say the spokesperson, as if he's contributed so much to minorities or contributed so much to the state of black people that he actually has the right to step in as the leader or spokesperson for minorities, for people who are undergoing oppression. The reason I had such a huge issue with this line in particular is actually because Kanye viewed himself as someone like a blood who would have to put in consistent work and be involved in his lifestyle for many years before he would be the person to go speak for the Bloods. Back in '92, when the LA riots were going on and LAPD were going crazy, after severely beating Rodney King, there were street gangs that prior to the Rodney King issue were heavily involved in illegal activity, that lifestyle, right? And not saying I agree with it, but if they're going to be that, they had to have been in their gang for quite some time before they could speak for anyone. These gangs shook hands because they knew their fighting would distract them from the bigger picture here, from the bigger enemy, which was the LAPD at the time. So basically, these gangs put their differences aside to focus on a bigger common enemy. When Kanye metaphorically puts himself in the place of blood. He basically says that he's put in enough work to be able to go up to Donald Trump and shake his hand or speak with him on behalf of black folk, on behalf of whoever he views as most oppressed, and say, look everybody, I just shook the enemy's hand. I just did something great. We can all do it. The problem with Kanye's ideology here is that it doesn't get shit done. Bloods and Crips and those street gangs from back in '92, when they were shaking their hands, they were preventing violence from occurring at their own hands so that they could focus on the enemy who was actually killing them. Kanye West shaking Donald Trump's hand doesn't do shit. Kanye West endorsing Donald Trump doesn't do shit. It opens up the space or opens up dialogue for Trump to say bullshit like this.
Kanye West gets it.
And again, I have zero political bias here. I am not on the right. I am not on the left. I belong to no party. My views simply go with what makes most sense for me. We will get into the song itself and how it sounds and if I think it's a good song or not. But like I said, the focal point of this song is to spark the conversation. This is what Kanye wanted to do, so I'm responding to his request to let the people speak. So I'm going to speak on the opinion that he injected into his music. Now, me saying what I said in the beginning of this video isn't me upset with Kanye West for identifying more with a Caucasian millionaire than he could for the average black man. I don't care who you identify with. That's great if you can identify with someone outside of your regular demographic. I think that's awesome, right? That shows a lot of maturity, and it also shows that you view humanity at the forefront, right? I say that Kanye West shaking Donald Trump's hand doesn't do shit in the same way that Kanye thinking that wearing a Make America Great Again hat change people's perspective or their view on the slogan itself and what it means. As if Kanye West taking the hat and wearing it for a day changed the reality of what it means to people who are experiencing Trump use his slogan every day. What Kanye did was open up the door for dialogue, but he didn't give it a new meaning. He didn't give it this new grand interpretation. Even worse about this track is I think Kanye, more than anyone, is falling victim to the same thing that his fans are requiring people do when they listen to his music, which is not viewing Donald Trump for what Donald Trump is represented as, which is the US president. Donald Trump can't be separated from his job. As a human being without the title of US president, I'm sure Donald Trump may be a different person. That's not what I'm saying here. And I believe Kanye has convinced himself that he can somehow enlighten the masses on politics based off his endorsement of Donald as a person. Kanye has misconstrued what being a fan of someone versus being a fan of what they do is. There's a reason that Kanye West feels a need to explain himself politically based off his endorsement of Donald Trump as a person, because he even knows that you can't separate a president from his position. That is the essence of Donald Trump's existence at this moment, not Donald Trump the businessman, Donald Trump the president. When Trump took that oath as president, he accepted the responsibility of the entire country. To say that you aren't trying to hear politics is literally you undermining what affects you on a day-to-day basis. It'd be different if someone told you something about music, like y'all can hate my opinion of, I don't know, the new whatever new record comes out, right? Just like I could disagree with many people who love it, or you could disagree with me for loving it, whatever the case may be, because music is something that subjectively affects each person, right? But politics are different, because when you have a strong political opinion, you need to be careful of what idea you're trying to push, because that idea is 100% going to affect, objectively 100% going to affect the country and its members and its citizens. Gun laws don't subjectively affect each and every one of us. It objectively makes a lot of people's lives more dangerous, opening them up to more and more violence. Healthcare has become a bit of a politic that objectively affects most people, maybe not the 1%, but most people objectively. So when the longevity of people's lives are affected based off these politics, it's not something as simple as just an opinion anymore. because you have something that is literally going to affect how people live, how people eat, how people make money, how people breathe, how people take care of themselves. And it's like all Kanye West fans, I'm a fan of Kanye too, but it's like all of Kanye West fans are pushing this to the side. These things that affect us all objectively, or a vast majority of America objectively. They're pushing all this to the side in an effort to try to make Kanye seem as if he's trying to unify everyone. You could separate a man from the duty that he's taken the responsibility of if it's something that doesn't affect literally hundreds of millions of people. You could do that. Donald Trump being president, on the other hand, you can't do that. Everything this dude does, good thing or mistake, will objectively affect a vast majority of America. I'd say it to people all the time. I'm way less harsh on people who make mistakes that primarily affect them versus primarily affecting other people. Because if it just affects you, I feel bad. I feel like you have to do this on your own. But it directly affecting you, I feel as if there's less impact. Like, I know a lot of people don't know my views on Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick a long time ago. He and another team stole hundreds of millions of dollars from a city that was already impoverished, a city that was already in a deficit, a city that already owed money and that could barely sustain itself. He and his team saw fit to steal from that. That wasn't a decision that they made that only affected them. That affected the city, that affected the budget, that affected funding. It affected a lot more than just the parties involved. So that's why me personally, I was a lot harsher on them. The election wasn't one of those things that was so black and white that whoever came out victorious is the one that's good at the end of the day. Whoever becomes president more often than not is just the lesser of two evils. When Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump were running for president, I wasn't sitting up there like, oh man, like hey, whoever wins, that's the good guy. Like, no, a lot of people acknowledge that most times presidents are picked based off who is going to negatively affect them the least, because there are going to be policies that are going to shit on you. What people go in the booth deciding is what's going to affect me the least, what's going to harm my family the least, what's going to affect my pockets the least. That's what people go into the booth voting for. They don't go in there voting for, I know this dude's going to change things. No one thinks that. I don't, at least. So when Kanye makes a connection to black people staying to the Democratic Party as if it's this safety net, in saying that it's a detriment and it's harmful to them, basically, for them to want to even be connected to these ideologies. Kanye's basically saying here is just because you're black doesn't mean you have to limit yourself to the Democratic lifestyle or Democratic Party. You can think independently. He's not saying go Republican just because we don't want you to be Democrat. I just want you to think as an independent. I want you to be a free thinker, quote unquote. And that's no diss to Republicans if you're watching this video. It's literally just my opinion. If you're telling someone that what they're voting for is causing them harm, you're insinuating that they should vote for the other, I would assume. But Kanye West doesn't even come out and say that on this song, because this whole track is something that is literally just an outpour of random thought from Kanye. It's nothing that was cohesive. It's nothing that was written well enough for you to, by the end of the track, understand fully what Kanye is going for. He says, bruh, I never stopped fighting for the people. Kanye, you never actually started. I mean, that hat stayed in my closet like about a year and a half. Then one day I was like, fuck it, I'ma do me. I was in this sunken place and then I found a new me. Conveniently, you found yourself when you're about to drop an album. All right, Kanye, I feel you. I feel like Kanye West's thoughts on Donald Trump are only a little dangerous because he's just another token blackface that conservative right-wing people can use as a spokesperson to say, oh man, Kanye West gets it. And I said that before I saw that Donald Trump clip where he literally says Kanye West gets it. He's one of the good ones, guys. Like, he's a black that understands the situation going on. All right, he's the one that he got it. He got it. All right, he got it. I don't want to form this next opinion as an insult, so I'm gonna ask people who happen to be Republican, if you're watching this video, or if you're right wing. I'll ask you now, because I'm not left wing, I'm not right wing. I'm just trying to be objective and like think through the middle here, and I'm just trying to look at something that harms all of us, or what I think most harms my demographic or yours, why are they so willing to accept the uninformed political opinion of Kanye West, but they're just as harsh on people who have that same misinformation and that same lack of understanding when they have opposing views of the right wing in general? Why is it when someone steps into the political field with that extreme lack of knowledge that a lot of them request that you have if your views oppose them, why is it that they've completely overlooked that when it comes to Kanye West? I keep trying to get past Kanye thinking that he genuinely did something or changed the perspective or the view of the Make America Great slogan simply by wearing the hat. That approach can be summed up to covering up dog shit with a towel or spraying trash with Febreze. He fails to realize optimistic thoughts alone don't get shit done, which is essentially what he shared on Twitter and even this song. If I just wear this thought with a smile, people will look at it different. Like if I call you an idiot to your face with a smile, it's no longer an insult when it 100% is. So having an opinion and liking Donald Trump are two different things, because I really don't mind Donald Trump as a person. I like outspoken people. I like people who have no filter. I like people who are honest. Even though I don't agree with many of his views at all, I think Donald Trump is respectable to me that he speaks from the heart. However, I don't agree with a fucking word this dude says. I think this is one of the most culturally ignorant people that has ever been president. But I think the same thing of Kanye West. Kanye West doesn't get to say he fights for the people when we don't see him until he's about to drop an album. He says to T.I. in this same track, you're just reading headlines, you don't see the fine print. Kanye, people got this shit from your Twitter. It's not a headline. You can go to your Twitter account. What are you talking about? Kanye also says in this track that he feels an obligation to show people new ideas. How exactly, with your admitted lack of knowledge on politics and your hesitation to place yourself as a conservative or not, how could you open anyone up to new ideas after admitting that you have so little information on it? I love how Kanye then thinks that because he's not rapping about crack or how he's gonna shoot people or how he's gonna fuck your bitch or how he's got money, that this is somehow 100 times better. And I don't want y'all to think that because I'm criticizing Kanye's lyrics in this song that I think T.I.'s are any better. I think his contribution to the track is just as bad to me. He's coming at Kanye with some of the most basic arguments this world has ever known. It's as if Kanye put T.I. in this song just to say that I'm aware that people disagree with me. He's not really giving this deep introspective thought here. He's just saying, I'm gonna put T.I. on the song to acknowledge that I understand people disagree with me. That's why T.I. is representing the people on this track. T.I. is just there to make Kanye seem like he's not totally insane. T.I. being on this track is like a saving grace for Kanye to make it seem like Kanye isn't this person that you should just be 100% upset with because of his opinion. I want to close this video topic out by asking this one final question, then I'll quickly talk about how I felt about the songs. People saying that Kanye shouldn't be persecuted for his opinion, you are 100% correct. However, at the end of the day, an opinion is an opinion. But what you must understand is that opinions generally dictate a lot of how people view you. You can have an opinion that you like chocolate more than vanilla, that's whatever. When your opinion is literally agreeing with or coinciding with the opinion of someone who thinks that black people should just get over it and they don't have any real oppressors, and that's not me making that up, that's literally what Candace Owens thinks, it makes me look at him and ask, what do you identify with in her opinion of that you feel the need to reiterate what she's saying? You feel the need to reiterate her sentiment. That means you can somehow relate to what she's saying, right? And that's okay to have an opinion. However, having such strong opinions let me know how you view your own race, how you view your country, how you view this, how you view that. At the end of the day, since opinions are opinions, I should be able to say veterans shouldn't be compensated when they return home because they don't deserve anything anyway. They need to work just like the rest of us. That's just an opinion, isn't it? That's all that is. That says nothing about me as a person, does it? I should be able to say that and no one come at me for that opinion. Because at the end of the day, they're just words. Those beliefs don't give you an indication of the type of person that I am or anything, does it? You see what I mean? That sounds stupid. It's not as simple as an opinion. It's the way you think. The way you think about people. But I could go on forever about this. I've talked about it long enough. This track to me isn't good. I hate the contribution from T.I. I hate Kanye West's weak ass points. I still like his music. I'm not discrediting his music, but I think this is one of the worst songs Kanye, as far as being introspective and trying to make a huge statement. I think this is one of the worst songs Kanye's ever made. And T.I. willingly being a part of this shit just to make Kanye West less crazy is just annoying to me. The track is mixed horribly. It sounds like a demo, and some people could probably argue that there's a reason for that. I'm just going based off the track itself, but that's just me. Please let me know how you feel about this track, how you feel about Kanye West's opinions in the comment section down below. This is the last video I want to make on Kanye and on this shit that he's talking about, because I'm really annoyed with it. I could really, at this point, care less. That is my opinion on Kanye West versus the people. Let me know what you people in the comment section down below think about it. No, that's not racial. I'm just truly trying to figure out what your opinion of it is. Just like Kanye, this is just my opinion, so you shouldn't be upset with me, right? You should be able to take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, right? All right, cool. I know I'm being purposely patronizing when I say that. So, thank you for watching. It's been Shawn C. I'll see you in the next one. And have a great day. I'm out. Peace.